What's up, guys? How's it going? Hope you are all doing well. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Jai Opetaias and what looks to be his next fight, which is taking place on March 8th, most likely in Las Vegas, against Brandon Glanton. Now, this fight has not been officially announced. However, it is rumored to be very close to being official. In my opinion, I think this is going to be the fight that they announce. Glanton, obviously the number one ranked American cruiserweight, with this fight of Opetaia being rumored to take place in Las Vegas on his first Zuffa boxing card. It is going to be in Vegas, apparently, so Glanton makes sense. He's the number one ranked American cruiserweight. He's also in the top 15. He's rated number 15 by the IBF, which is Jai Opetaias' belt that he holds. So it makes sense for this fight to be the one that they make. Glanton coming off of a decent victory over Marcus Brown, in which he stopped him, I think, in the end of the sixth or seventh. Brown sort of retired on his stool. Glanton, very physical fighter. He's a pressure fighter with heavy hands. I think 21 victories with 18 wins coming by knockout. Very tough guy. What looks to have a very good chin. Like I said, he has 3 losses on his resume, all very close fights, one of them being to Billum Smith. But none of those losses came by stoppage. Like I say, he looks to have a very good chin, very good gas tank as well. Physically strong guy. He's 6 foot tall, so a little bit shorter than Jai Opetaias. However, he looks to have a slightly longer reach as well at 79 inches. Opetaias having what's listed as a 76-inch reach. I think I see a lot of people sort of making sort of negative remarks about this fight, saying, Opetaias is wasting his time at cruiserweight. I hear that. I mean, I was hoping they'd actually make Opetaia versus Usyk, because both guys didn't really seem to have anybody lined up for them, and both guys were looking for voluntary defenses. So I would have liked to have seen them make a super fight like that. However, this fight does make sense for Opetaia. And then it looks like next, if he gets past Glanton, he will be facing Noel McCallan in a unification bout. So things are moving along at cruiserweight. Actually, I know, it doesn't seem like it, but things are moving along, and this fight, in my opinion, does make sense. And from a career standpoint, next being McCallan, Opetaia will be getting closer to, getting all the belts at cruiserweight, which is his dream before moving up to the heavyweight division. But now more on this fight. I think it is a very interesting fight, because we're going to see, I think, a tougher fight than most people expect. Like I say, Glanton he's not an easy night's work for anybody, because he has a great gas tank. He's a relentless guy. He's heavy-handed, very durable guy, very physically strong. Not an easy night's work for anybody. Like I said, he's a pressure fighter, which in my opinion is probably one of the styles that gives Opetaia trouble. I mean, similar to we've seen with a lot of boxers, guys that apply relentless pressure and that have a very good chin. They're tough nights work for anybody. So now Opetaia, being a boxer puncher with good feet, I do expect him to also give Glanton trouble in this fight, because he's not going to stand in front of Glanton. He's not going to just let Glanton pin him on the ropes. He's going to be using that footwork that he has. Opetaia has some of the best legs in boxing. Great footwork, very light on his feet, on the balls of his feet. He uses that bounce in and out. Great feint game, great jab as well. Opetaia is he's an elite level guy. I do expect him to win this fight. I think he is going to have too much boxing skills and boxing IQ as well. And I think it's going to be very, very interesting, though, because if Opetaia can stop Glanton, he'll be the first guy to have stopped Glanton. And that, in my opinion, would be him making a statement. That's not going to be an easy task to try and stop Glanton. And like I said, Glanton has power as well. So, he's a threat to this fight, and he's been wanting this fight for a long time. Actually, when Opetaia was with Eddie Hearn, there was rumors of this fight getting made if Glanton was able to get past Billum Smith. He wasn't able to get past Billum Smith, so the fight never materialized. However, even that fight against Billum Smith was a very competitive and very entertaining fight. Glanton, he's never really in a bad fight, in my opinion, with that style, throwing a lot of punches, applying a lot of pressure, and being heavy-handed. It's good to watch. And I think this is going to be a very entertaining and exciting fight. You've got an absolute clash of styles here. One guy being an orthodox fighter, one guy being a southpaw, but also, Opetaia is a boxer puncher. Glanton's a pressure fighter with power. So I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight. It'll be very interesting to see if Glanton can get on the inside of Opetaia and get to his body. To see how Opetaia handles someone on the inside, because this could potentially be what happens to him if he fights Benavidez. It's going to be another guy trying to apply pressure on him, trying to get on the inside, trying to go to his body, throwing a lot of punches. So this Glanton matchup, it's actually, a decent preparation fight for some of Opetaia's fights going forward. Even for, I know Mikhailan is taller, but he's also sort of a guy that, can. He's a boxer puncher, I guess, as well, but he kind of applies pressure as well. Quite basic guy, but Glanton, in my opinion, he's a tough test for anybody, and he's a good fight, in my opinion, for Opetaia to just make sure he is ready for the top guys at Cruiserweight. So I think this is going to be a very entertaining fight. I obviously would be picking Opetaia, but I'll be interested to see whether he can stop Glanton or whether, it's going to go to decision. Because, like I said, Glanton is very tough, very strong guy, very durable. So I think it's a great fight, actually. And I think it'll, make for a great spectacle in terms of for the boxing fans watching this. I think it's a good fight for Opetaia to have in America. I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight. Both guys can punch. So either guy could get knocked out, but both guys are very tough and durable. But Opetaia obviously seems to be, a cut above in terms of just boxing skills, boxing IQ. In his last fight, Opetaia didn't have, the best of performance against Sin Cara. However, Sin Cara was quite tricky, sort of a wily older fighter, but guy that was using distance, looking to, land straight right hands from distance, looking to also try and counter Opetaia. In this fight, he will be facing a much different challenge, but nonetheless, it will be a challenge. But it will be a guy that's going to put it on him, a guy that's going to look to cut the ring off, look to try and go to his body, and look to try and land big shots on the inside and try and rough him up and outwork him. But I don't expect Opetaia to sit in front of Glanton at all. He's going to be using his much faster feet, because I think he has got the foot speed advantage in this fight. Both guys have actually a pretty good jab, and like I said, Glanton seems to have the reach advantage, even though he's the shorter of the two guys. But I do expect Opetaia to be able to outbox him, to use that jab, to use his movement, use the feints, and look to try and actually walk Glanton onto something big. Because we know Opetaia can, use that jab and use his feints to then set up sort of lead power shots, even lead uppercuts with his lead right hand. So that's a shot that I could see him landing on Glanton, is actually the lead right uppercut. But yeah, I think this is going to be actually a great fight. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section below. I do expect Opetaia to win the fight, but I don't actually think it's going to be that easy as most people probably are expecting it to be. Obviously, a big opportunity for Glanton, and it's in his home country in America. So I expect him to, put in a very good effort here, and he's a very tough guy. So I think it's going to be a tough fight for Opetaia, but I do expect him to possibly win by late stoppage or on points. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section below, guys. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys again soon. Cheers.